guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am back with another Invisalign video. Actually, I feel like it's been years. It has been so long since I sat down and filmed an Invisalign video, and I'm so sorry. I love you guys for sticking around for the entire month that I didn't post anything. Yeah, life has just been... I just could not bring myself to sit down and film a video this past month, but I am glad to be back here filming and ready to upload another video for you guys. So, like I mentioned, this video is an Invisalign related video. It's not specifically about Invisalign. I'm actually, as you guys probably know from the title, going to be talking about flossing after Invisalign, or really after any orthodontic treatment. When I finished Invisalign, I actually got permanent and removable retainers. So I have my plastic retainers that I can pop in and out that I am supposed to wear at night while I sleep. And then I also have my permanent retainers, which are permanently glued or bonded to the backs of my 6 lower and 5 upper front teeth, just to make sure that everything is in place and I have that extra security, essentially. I am not unhappy with having permanent retainers, but it's something that going into Invisalign, I didn't actually ever plan on getting permanent retainers. When I was thinking about it and getting close to the end of my treatment, I actually thought, you know, if my orthodontist said that I should get permanent retainers, I would just be like, yeah, no thanks, I'm good. Which, I mean, knowing myself, I'm such like a timid, shy person to people that I'm not like 100% comfortable with, people that I don't know. So I don't know why I thought I would be able to decline the permanent retainer, even though my orthodontist was actually like,
I mean, if you don't want the permanent retainer, that's fine, it's up to you, but I would strongly recommend it.
I was still like, okay. So yeah, and I find that flossing has just become so much more of a hassle since I finished Invisalign. I actually really enjoyed flossing. I still do for the most part. I don't know, there's just something like super satisfying about knowing that like your teeth are completely clean, even in between every single little crease and crevice inside your mouth. It's just beautiful. Like, I don't know, it gets me. I like it. And I know I'm weird. You don't have to tell me. But basically, since I've finished Invisalign and I now have those permanent retainers, I like dread having to floss because it's just so much more inconvenient now. I'll insert a picture somewhere, maybe over here, of what the permanent retainers actually look like if you are curious or not sure. They are bonded like halfway down the backs of my teeth, and I get it. They're meant to keep my teeth in place and make sure that they don't shift, that year and a half of braces that I did isn't for nothing, but at the same time, like, it's just so annoying. If you're wondering what flossing is like when you have permanent retainers, essentially it is really annoying, to say the least. It is still possible and totally doable, but there are extra steps that you have to take. It's not as simple and straightforward as just flossing when you don't have permanent retainers. And I feel like if you aren't a fan of flossing now while you're going through your Invisalign treatment, when there aren't any obstructions or anything that's making it more difficult to floss, just a heads up, your motivation to floss is most definitely going to decrease to even lower once you do get permanent retainers, so keep that in mind. You'll have to really motivate yourself to keep on top of flossing. Like I said, I'm someone who actually really enjoyed flossing, and since getting my permanent retainers, I don't look forward to it anymore because it's just a lot. All that being said, I'm going to show you guys the different options that you have in terms of flossing if you do end up getting permanent retainers after Invisalign or traditional braces. Starting off with what my orthodontist actually recommended and provided to me on that appointment when I finished Invisalign. And that is a Floss Threader. So this is what the little package that I got from my orthodontist looks like. They are just the gum brand Easy Through Floss Threaders. This is what they look like. So you can see it's really thin. It's just this little like lasso looking thing. It's made out of plastic. The reason that they're called Floss Threaders is because they're meant to help you thread the floss between your teeth so that you're able to actually floss the teeth that, you know, have the metal bar behind them. For the most part, this is really easy to use. I just find that for certain spaces in my mouth, specifically one section between two of my teeth is just like super duper tight, and my gums start bleeding like almost every time I try to get the floss threader through, so it's just not a pleasant experience. I ended up looking for other alternatives and other options when it came to flossing, and actually a subscriber of mine, I'll try to insert the comment like over here or something, actually recommended these interdental, what are these called? I believe they're called like interdental brushes or something like that. It's essentially just these little brushes that you can push through the spaces between your teeth to sort of really get in there and scrub between your teeth, as opposed to using traditional floss and a floss threader. When I heard about this, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to go to the store like immediately. That is a genius invention. I feel like it's a general consensus among people who have permanent retainers that these little flossing brushes are like God's gift to people with permanent retainers, and unpopular opinion, I don't agree. Basically, they just don't work for me. That being said, I will explain why these don't work for me, and chances are you will not have this problem, so these might be a really great option for you if you're having a lot of trouble flossing with the Floss Threaders after getting your permanent retainer. Basically, with these little flossing brushes, like there are a number of different sizes available. You can get the tight, micro tight, which is what I have. The micro tight is the smallest one that they have as far as I'm aware, and these are designed to get into those really tight spaces between teeth. So if your teeth are really closely placed together, then these are probably going to be the best ones for you. My issue with these floss threaders is that the micro tight are the only ones that will fit through the spaces in all of the teeth that I have a permanent retainer behind. My top teeth are super easy, but really the problems arise when it comes to my bottom row of teeth. It's always been my bottom row that's been more crowded. Even now after Invisalign, they're not crowded per se, but they are really tightly packed in there essentially. So basically the micro tights are the only ones that were able to get in between each of those spaces on the bottom row for me, but because of the way that they're designed and to make them as small as they are, they're super flexible. So this is what the brush looks like, and I'll try to get as close as possible. And as you guys can see here, there's a pretty gnarly bend in this one. That is the exact problem that I have with these flossers. Although they work for most of the spaces in between my teeth, there is one space in particular where if I try to put this floss brush through that space to floss in between those teeth, it just bends. And I can never properly floss between those teeth with this, which is just painfully annoying because for all the other spaces between all of my other teeth, this works beautifully. I get like a really clean feel after using these as well because it's essentially like putting a tiny little toothbrush between your teeth. Like it cleans between your teeth so well. But yeah, that's my problem. And essentially if the spaces between your teeth are really tight as well, chances are these little brushes won't work the best for you. Otherwise, these are really great. I bought like 4 packs, so I do still use them for the spaces between my other teeth. But what I find is that it's pretty annoying to, you know, easily floss between all of my other teeth and then have to go in with the floss threader anyway to get between those 2 specific teeth. What I usually end up doing is just using my floss threader for all of the teeth that I have the permanent retainers attached to. Oddly enough, I have actually found that I still prefer to use floss picks like I always have. So these right here for flossing in between my other teeth. So any of my teeth besides the ones with permanent retainers attached, I will always use my floss picks. I just find it is so much easier and so much quicker to floss effectively with those versus just regular string floss. So yeah, that's just my personal preference. So I think what I'm gonna do next is just show you guys, give you a demonstration of how I floss now that I have permanent retainers. So with the flossing brushes, it looks like this. Yeah, okay. So as you guys can see, it's just bent. So that's my main problem with these little brushes. If I had the like thicker ones, I'm sure it wouldn't be like this. When it comes to these thinner brushes that are able to squeeze into smaller spaces, doesn't it make sense that they also need to be pretty sturdy because those smaller spaces are going to be really tight? But yeah, so that is the main reason why these little brushes do not work for me. So what I typically do is use Floss Threaders. So again, this is what they look like a little plastic lasso. I have seen these for sale at places like Walmart. I haven't had to buy any yet because I sort of finessed my orthodontist out of a few packs of these. Each of these little ones that my orthodontist gives come with like 6 in them. You're probably wondering, are they reusable? Do you have to throw them out after each use? One person at my ortho's office said that you use them one time and then you throw them out. Somebody else said keep using them until they break. So I have been leaning towards the keep using them until they break side of things, and these are actually quite sturdy. I think I've only ever had one break on me, and it was because I removed the floss from it wrong, and I sort of just like made it split down this like middle section. So yeah, I would say I don't see any reason you can't reuse them. Really, you're not flossing your teeth with this, you're just using it to, you know, thread the floss through your teeth. So yeah, so I'm just gonna take a piece of floss. You just thread it through the floss threader, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but essentially this is what it looks like. I've just put the floss through, and then I like to double it so it looks like this. And then you're actually gonna take the little end of the floss threader and just thread it between your teeth. I believe you're actually just supposed to thread it through and then use like a single sort of line of floss. What I have found works best for me is I thread it through and then I use like the doubled floss. Even for that one really tight space, as soon as I've managed to thread it through, I have no problem using the doubled up floss, but you know, depends on the person. Personally, that's how I like to do it, but I think the way that it's intended to be used is that this little blue floss threader is really only used to pull the floss through. You sort of put it through more like this, like when you're threading a needle, and then once it's through, then you would just sort of have the single piece of floss. But yeah, I'm gonna readjust the camera and then show you guys the actual process of me flossing my teeth with a floss threader. So I hope I was able to give you guys a pretty good look at what flossing is actually like when using a floss threader. I did show you guys both ways, sort of the way that I have just, you know, become accustomed to flossing, doubling up the floss, versus the way that I believe the floss threader is actually intended to be used, just to pull the floss through between those teeth. Do whatever works best for you. That's definitely what I'm doing, but hopefully that helped you guys wrap your heads around how to use a floss threader. I know when I first saw it, I was like, what on earth am I supposed to do with that? Currently, that is the way that I am flossing between the teeth that do have permanent retainers attached to them. With all this being said, one thing that I've been considering is actually investing in a water flosser. If you guys aren't familiar with water flossers, essentially they're just little machines that you fill up with water, and they have a little spout on the end that you can use to essentially like power wash in between your teeth. And I feel like that is another really great alternative to all of these weird flossing things that I am trying out these days. They are a little bit on the pricey side, which is why I haven't jumped in and done it, but I think that it would really alleviate a lot of my annoyances when it comes to flossing with my permanent retainer. And during my last appointment at my orthodontist, which as far as I'm aware was my final appointment ever, I did actually ask my orthodontist, Dr. Ma, what his opinion of water flossers was, because we did talk about like that one little section there. What he said was that yeah, he would definitely recommend a water flosser. However, it's still important to actually go in with real floss every now and then, just to make sure that you're really getting in there and properly cleaning between your teeth. I think based on that, I will definitely consider buying a water flosser, just because it's gonna make it so much easier to keep my teeth clean. Now, if that is something that you guys would like me to make a video about, or maybe something that you've been considering as well, definitely let me know by leaving a comment in the comment section below this video. Also, let me know how you guys would like me to go about it. Do you have any specific questions with regards to using a water flosser? Are there any water flosser brands that you use that you might recommend? Anything like that, let me know down below. And also, if you guys have any questions about the current methods that I use for flossing, so my floss threader, the little interdental brushes as well, let me know below and I will answer any questions that you have to the best of my ability. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!